Welcome back to the Golden Boot Podcast. It's your boy Pooh Bear. I got Aunt Petty Murphy in the building, Daniel D. Williams in the building, and we
What
got a
up?
special guest. Adrian Magee will be with us shortly. But first off, spring game was yesterday. Fellas, we have a team. We have a team. Who's our quarterback? I don't know yet, but we got a team.
In us we trust.
Here we go. Starting out with it, huh?
Hey.
But it looks like our guest is ready. If you ready, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Can you hear us okay? All right, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, number 73 on the roster, number one in your heart,
Oh,
the one, the only, Mr. Adrian Magee. What's good, Mr. Adrian Magee?
What's going on? How y'all doing today?
man, we
Man,
doing
listen,
excellent.
We're good,
we
bro.
are
How
happy
you
to
doing,
have you
man?
with us. Blessed. But first, let me do this because I gave you that, but we gotta talk about the pancake special. We gotta talk about Mr. Adrian McGee and the pancake special. It's what made, well, I ain't gonna say it's what made you famous, but it's one thing that everybody talks about. I personally was in the stadium on the day when it happened. September 21st, 2019, against Vanderbilt. Let's take a look. All right, Adrian. So I'll say this.
That's illegal in 50 states, bro.
Hey, that's very disrespectful.
I'll say this. A lot of people have a favorite catch. A lot of people have a favorite, touchdown run. I've never had a favorite block until then, that day. You personally, my son was an Auburn fan. You personally made him an LSU fan that day. So I want to thank you for that. But one thing I gotta ask, what was going through your mind? Not just on the first one, but on the second one.
Well, I can start off by saying I ain't gonna lie. I kid you not. I was messing that whole assignment up the whole weekend practice. The whole weekend practice, I messed it up. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I seen the guy coming, something clicked in my head. I was like, wow, this is what I've been messing up all week. And it's crazy because it slowed down so slow that I had all my thoughts running and they were actually processing. Usually my thoughts don't process. I just go off with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was processing. He was coming around. I was like, okay, this it. So when I hit him, my adrenaline started running. I was like, oh yeah. And I kind of like zoned out for a few minutes because I was like, see, finally practice starting to pay off. I'm on my Allen Iverson. We don't need practice.
Right.
So I flashed out, zoned out for a few minutes, and I see the other guy. I was like, oh yeah, I got to get him. He looked too sweet. So I just had to clean him up too.
Pause.
But I messed up all week though. But I'm
Yeah.
there for the game though.
You did it. You did it when it count though. That's all that matters.
Right.
Hey, so let me ask you a question. Now, when you guys go to your next play, did any one of those guys say anything to you?
Yeah, everybody was like, oh, look at you out there killing people. My dogs, hyping me up.
Yeah.
But then when we got to the locker room, they was like, you going viral. I'm like, what is you talking about? I'm over here hurt. I done hurt my knee because when we got down there, what did we do? We was kicking a field goal and my knee had went in. So I'm over here getting dark. They talking about you went viral, you all over the place. I'm like, what is y'all talking about? I'm out there just playing. And I didn't forgot about it, really, to be honest. I really forgot about it because I was so worried about my knee.
All right, well, let me ask you this, bro. How was it? How was it blocking for the GOAT? You know what I mean, Joe?
I would not to hate on any other the other quarterbacks I play with, but Joe, I like playing with Joe because there's one thing, a couple players might not know what to do, or a couple players might be in the wrong position. Joe literally knew all 11 positions, where they were supposed to be at, and what they were supposed to be doing. So I really applaud Joe for that. He always kept us onto it, but we always had that playing attitude with us because if you're playing and you're out there having fun, you're gonna do good regardless, as long as you executing at practice. And we make sure we execute at practice. In time for the game, we go out there, have fun, and we play ball, no matter what the outcome gonna be, because we're gonna, do what we got to do.
Adrian, let me also ask, was there a situation ever where Joe literally audibled a lot, or was it plays coming in? How did your offense work for the most part?
The offense, for the most part, we had upstairs that did a pretty good job and always kept us on our toes. But it was a chance where I think after week 3, or it was a practice, and coach was just like, Joe, if you don't feel comfortable and if you see a different look, go ahead and change it, because that's how comfortable they was with Joe. That's how much they trusted Joe. Joe had the ability to change the plays, and he did whenever it came down to it.
Yeah. All right. So first off, before so we can continue on, I see we got our man Chris Honeybun in the building.
Honey buns.
So Adrian, I'm gonna ask this question because I know everybody in the chat want to know: has Chris ever tried to convince you to eat a honey bun with cheese on it?
Nah, I ain't heard that side of it. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't heard that side of Chris. I got some other stories on Chris that we
let me go ahead. Let's go ahead. Daniel, go ahead and get the calendar. We're gonna set up another interview. That's all we're gonna talk about is Chris stories.
Let's get it. But if you don't know, Adrian and Chris are from Franklinton. So that's a connection there.
Blake also.
Yeah.
But Adrian, I do want to ask you. So we started off talking about my favorite memory from, as far as you with the pancake block. What is one of your favorite memories from the 2019, or actually from LSU as a whole?
I got some on the field ones. I got some off the field ones. But as far as on the field, it was a lot. I ain't gonna lie. From practices, us getting rowdy at practices and then coming together as a team in the locker room. Georgia for the SEC championship. I made a lot of memories, and a lot of them that's gonna stick with me forever. But I just can't dwell on one because the whole season was good. We had a lot of leeway once things started picking up, and coach understood that we're gonna do what it takes. So I made a lot of memories and a lot of bonds with those guys. And still to this day, I still talk to at least majority, over 80% of them.
Hey, and I got a question for you too, Adrian. Now, you went to the White House, man. I got a 2-part question. You went to the White House. Mm-hmm. How was that?
The White House, it was nice. It was different.
Y'all girded in the White House. That's wild.
Yeah, it was something in my head that said, go run around free because you only get this once in a lifetime thing. But then another part was like, if my mama hear about this, I let everybody else do their fun.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, brother. That 2019 team, they had all kind of awards. The Heisman, the Biletnikoff, all that. Like, what did it mean to you for y'all to win the Joe Moore Award, the Offensive Line Award?
It meant a lot. Our offensive line coach Craig, he told us, and we got together. And we told him, we want to be the best O-line in the nation, in the world. So, he pushed us to that point. We all got together Saturdays, Fridays, off season, sometimes Sunday. And we'll go over plays and we'll go through drills and we'll ask the younger guys what do they need, because at any given moment, the younger guys will have to step up. And, we stayed together as a unit. We went to go eat and be fat boys. We went to go eat, be fat boys. We in the gym Saturday. We in the gym being skinny, got our shirt off, doing extra cardio, running routes together, DB, wide receiver, just O-line, just bringing our bond together. And that made us stronger. And, you could tell a younger guy, hey, chill out, cut that out. And he'll, listen to you because he know what we have to accomplish and what we have going on. So that actually meant a lot. I'm still sad because one of the guy that I was playing against, Sadiq Charles, my left tackle, he was having school trouble, so he had to go to school. But we had all took a picture whenever they gave us the award, and I was gonna get it tattooed on me. But it meant a lot because it was a goal that we had planned and we got it accomplished. So it meant way more than just, oh, let's just go out here and freestyle and we're going to do this, that, and get the award. But we actually worked for it. We put sweat, tears, and grind into it. So it meant a lot.
When did you know that y'all could win that award? Was it the beginning of the season, or was there a moment in the season when it finally like, yeah, hey man, we can really do this?
I could say after that Vanderbilt game, Lloyd came to me and he was like, you just gave us a big bonus. And I'm like, what you talking about? He was like, for the Joe Moore Award, because it's the toughest O-line award, and he was like, you really just set the standards high. So
Yeah.
he was. We knew once there, we said, okay, we just got to add a little bit more, and just keep going, because we had it then. Just that big push.
Now, it seemed like on that 2019, you guys had a lot of accountability. I know you said before you guys would get together, the big boys. Did you guys do that every season, or was it something that you guys really focused on your senior year?
We did it every season. It was just the more accountability. You got guys that want to do their own thing, guys that are too hype, or guys that's above each other. Not saying that the guys that I played with previous were any better than the guys in 2019. But once you get somebody to listen to the goal and understand the goal, things will start rolling more, and everybody will be on one accord. And that's what the whole team had as a whole, even outside of the O-line. But it started with the O-line.
Yeah.
The O-line could do it, then it trickled off into the wide receivers. They were getting together. They were doing their thing. And then cross over to defense. Defense always stayed on it. But it was just everybody on one accord. Right. Not pulling against each other. We're all pulling one direction.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Adrian. So, people in the comments, if you got a question for Adrian, saying hashtag #AskAM. But we do have one question. Have you had Blue Store chicken? That's the question.
Yeah, I had Blue Store plenty of times. Not to rain on their parade, but I seen something that I didn't like, and I'm already not supposed to be eating, fried food, but I can't knock it. The chicken is way better than what I seen, so I'll still go back to this day. Go back to this day.
You always got to look over that like the chicken joint.
It don't get no better than that. I even tried making it at home. It just don't. I don't know what they do.
Love it. Hey, well, let me ask you too, Adrian. The transition between being coached by Les Miles and Coach O, what's the difference there?
You can repeat that one more time. I was reading that at the bottom.
Oh my God!
Thank you, Casey.
Right. Hey, so the difference between being coached by Les Miles and being coached by Coach O, because right now, of course, LSU as a fan base, we're going through a transition, and so are the players. So, what was the biggest transition for you?
The biggest transition for me, I would have to say the practices, really.
Yeah.
Coach Miles, we always had, I think it reached like 22. I think my highest is 27, but I don't want to lie. So I'm going to just put around 22 periods, at least 5 to 8 minutes, resetting the clock, staying out there. I mean, it was practices. We probably stayed out there 3+ hours.
Jeez.
And that it made us what we are, but at the same time, our body's gonna wear down at a certain point, and it's gonna be just straight practice. We got to go hard at practice, or we're gonna have to restart the whole period over another 8 minutes, or go home, rest, and get ready for all that over, and not even worry about schoolwork. With it was, we're gonna get in here, we're gonna do it right. If I see what I want to see, then we can move on. But it's no point of dwelling. It was times where he reset the clock, but it wasn't as much as that many periods and how to go about things. We got in, we got out, and we had more focusing on schoolwork. And it was Coach O cared more about schoolwork than practice. But I'm not gonna say Les didn't. But he took it easy on us in practice. That way we at least had a chance to go home and see our books and read our books and do our homework. But with Miles, it was just like, I'm tired. I'm not worrying about school. I done had my long day. We're going to figure this thing out tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it was a big transition with the practices and the intensity. We had more energy. Guys were into it in practice on the sideline. He made sure guys was into it. Even, I know at one point, after the offense ran a play, even the offense on the sideline, to run down and run back just to stay in condition-wise. So it wasn't that he didn't slack up or it wasn't as harsh, but at a certain point, it did begin easier and things started clicking and guys started understanding more. And it was, I'm pretty sure it was less guys hurt. but you work hard, you push, and the outcome.
Yeah.
All right. So we have actually a question from the chat. SAM, was it hard to block Tyler Shelvin in practice?
I'd rather pull my truck 2 to 3 miles and try to block Tyler Shelvin. I ain't gonna lie, Tyler might be big and heavy, but it was some muscle under that big and heavy.
You look athletic too.
He'll root his legs like a tree, and I'm telling you, it'll be 2-3 guys. Like he's a big guy. It was hard. I can't lie, it was hard.
All right, let me piggyback off that and ask you, who was the hardest person that you had to block while you was at LSU?
Opposite team or my team?
Either or.
Yeah.
Either or. I don't think I really had too many bad opponents because I always had an upper edge on them. But what was it? I could still think about that game when we played Alabama, and what was that guy? And it was like the dumbest play ever. And I give that credit to him because he got back there, he got the sack. But I don't think I really had too many tough opponents because I don't think too many people was in shape like we were. But as far as it come to my team, Tyler Shelvin had to be by far the worst.
All right. So Adrian, I'm from Alabama, and Roger brings this up, and I'm gonna say, he says, I like how y'all beat up on Alabama. I'm gonna say this personally. Thank you, because listen, I
almost cried that night. I think I did share it too.
People who have talked to me in Twitter Spaces know when Alabama lose and I go to work, it's a funeral. It's they lost the election or something. It's so quiet in there. I tell people it's so quiet you can hear a mouse piss on cotton. That's how quiet it is. So
right.
I personally appreciate y'all for that game and the Auburn game, but mostly the Alabama game. But,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoy that going in there too and having everybody just all quiet and shit.
Yeah.
But it was nothing beating them as bad as we did because we always had the upper edge on them the whole time. Even though the score didn't show it, it showed on the field.
Right.
Right, let me ask you one more question about Joe. All right, so we all know the Miami game when y'all had the little scuffle and he held the L up and all that. Then the UCF game where he get knocked down and then he come back and throw 3-4 touchdowns on. Like when did you realize that Joe was different?
Oh, you're on mute, Adrian.
You're on mute, brother.
It had to be after, was that Vanderbilt? Yeah, it was Vanderbilt. Once he got hit in that Vanderbilt game, it changed a whole lot of not Vanderbilt.
Talking about UCF?
UCF, yeah, it was UCF.
Yeah.
And that made a big change. And I was like, damn. Once we started going through the season, I was like, they might have messed up hitting Joe. Like we wouldn't have had the season if he wouldn't have got hit that bad. But I mean, shout out to them for doing that.
Yeah. Let me, because you brought up Vanderbilt, and a lot of people don't know or may not remember. There was a point in that game where Joe went over to Vanderbilt's sideline, grabbed the defender in the back, and whispered in his ear something to the effect of, "I'm finna put 500 up on y'all." What was that like? Because I know Lloyd went and kind of cooled it down. It's like, hey, but so what was that like when he came back to y'all sideline?
It was like a brotherhood thing. It was, hey, you go back over there, we coming for real. Like the whole team will come this time, because it got to a point where you're not finna touch my quarterback. You're not even finna touch him, like even put a finger on him. We want our quarterback clean at the end of the game. If we weren't all white, that white better look like off-white when the game is over with. We took a lot of that serious, and when he went over there, and it was a couple of us over there, and we was piling up, but he's a man. He stand up on his. He's him. He's a big goat.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask this. Kind of transitioning to now. I don't know how much you still keep up with as far as like talking with the guys that are still in the program that may have been saying with you and stuff. But what are your thoughts on I don't think anybody's still left. What Miles?
No, I think Miles said they have maybe 8 players or something like that played on
Okay.
the national championship team.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what is, you know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on the new staff, or have you ever been able to look into them and stuff, or?
I really haven't.
Mhm.
You know, I see the guys on social media, and till this day, even I know last year it was all right, but you know, it started to slack off because guys know, hey, I got to get this done to get the next year. I talk to my friend when I get to the end of the road. But any of those guys know that they could call me up at any given moment, any given time, and I tell them straightforward what's going on, what you need to do. Hey, you want me to look at your film? I will. I helped Dare last year, even though he was where he was. I helped him last year, and I kind of gave him some encouragement. And I was like, hey, you the big guy out there. You really the biggest one out there in that conference. It ain't no way that they should be messing with you or in the same category as you. And you know, I help my lead them on. You know, I'm not as much as I am, but I still help others in the long run.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this too, Adrian. I mean, what was it like? You know, okay, LSU, we go to 2019 winning the national championship, and then the last 2 years, you know, to have the seasons that we have. As a former player and as someone, you know, you guys reached the top of the mountain. What was it like seeing your former team go back down, digress after you guys left?
It was difficult. You know, I had people coming up to me, you know, just from around my area, you know, hey, do you want to bet or do you want to gamble on the game? And I'm like, nah. We're gonna get it though. We're gonna get it, and you know, still trying to just give your guys your heart, even though you're not there. You know, still having faith in them, even though you're not telling them. And because they know what it takes, and they know what we've been through and what we had to do to accomplish our goals. So seeing that, I was like, did y'all really listen to us, or did y'all just like watch us from the back? But I'm knowing they took heed of it, and this year I know majority of them gonna make up for it because I know what they trying to get back to because they enjoyed every moment of that trip we had. From all 15 games all the way up into the White House doing the gritty. So they understand and they know what it takes. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna bounce back this year.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you what you think they're gonna do this year.
They got it. They got it. They just got to click into it and you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Take into what the coach is saying and what the coach is giving them, the knowledge.
Yeah.
And as long as they listen and you know they're not pulling against each other like a tug of war and everybody's on the same side pulling against, you know, everybody else, the outsiders. And that's another thing, leaving the outside social media, Twitter, even not to take away from y'all, but listening to podcasts when people are talking about you, you know, that stuff kind of messed with a player. That messed with me my first 2 years, and I wasn't really playing. But you know, you ain't got no other choice but to hear it once. One person here, and they be like, "Hey, did you see that podcast?" Or "Hey, did you see what they wrote on Tiger Bait?" You know, things like that. As long as they stay away from the media and do what they're supposed to and get their rest, hydrate, you know, keep their body right, we got a good chance of going back.
Yeah, so I agree. You should only listen to the Golden Boot. All right, so that's what I heard you say, and we're gonna stick with that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
We got another
I got a
question.
question for you though, eh?
Okay, go ahead, Chris. I'll let you go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna ask you tell everybody who the best fisherman is.
Oh, I think Mike Iaconelli is the best fisherman by far. They got a couple good ones out there, but you know Mike Iaconelli that's my guy right there.
Wrong answer.
But we got another question from the chat. It says you like Best Neighbors and Company. Said, do you think they are similar to Chase and Jets in the room?
I haven't really had a chance to look at those guys or see what those guys had to bring to offer to the table. But I could say, as far as Jets and Jamar, they had a competition between each other. But at the end of the day, they were still the best of friends because they knew, hey, if I don't get it, I know that man gonna get it.
Yeah,
right.
But so as long as you competing with you can compete with your best friend. And as long as y'all don't cross that border or have that animosity towards each other, like he hating on me, nobody's going to ever lose. Look at the success that those guys brought and the success that those guys are having. So, I mean, if they do what they did and understand what they did and why they did it wasn't because he's hating on the next one. But, you know, it'll turn out good for them just if they just stay on the right page and have a little competition, you know, and not get your feelings hurt if the coach sits you down and puts somebody in front of you.
Yeah. All right, so it's starting to get dark out there on you, and I know how the mosquitoes get. So I want to ask you, you know, maybe one or two questions. First, what is spring practice like versus summer camp?
Oh, spring practice versus summer camp. There's no difference. The intensity is still high. The dominance is still high. The being the bull on the field is still high. You know, we had the same energy we had for spring practice, the same energy we had for before game, before Bama, before Vanderbilt. We went and attacked the week the same the whole time, and nothing ever changed. The intensity stayed high. You know, we'll feel bad if we only beat a team by 3 points, 7 points, 14 points, because we know we could do so much better. We know we could, but that was another thing. We knew what we did. The coaches would tell us, and we'll go execute it. We'll go straight to the problem and fix it. We wouldn't wait till it get down the road. We took the same approach every week. Nothing changed.
Hey, can I ask a quick question?
Oh, yeah, y'all good. Y'all good.
All right, real quick. So I always believed that if it didn't rain that Auburn game in 2019, you guys would have smoked them. Do you believe that?
Hold on, say that one more again.
If it didn't rain that Auburn game, that you guys would have hung up a lot more points than you did.
No, I think it would have been the same outcome.
Okay.
You know, it still would have been good. I don't think nothing really would have changed because we had a couple wet practices and stuff, you know, some hot practices. We practiced in every element. It was sometimes when we really want to go outside and coach be like, all right, everybody go inside. It's lightning too bad. And, you know, boo. And, you know, we'll still have the same energy.
Yeah.
Right.
I got you.
All right. So one more question, and then we're gonna let you, you know what I'm saying, get to some safety. Because like I said, listen, I know the mosquitoes is like
they good. They ain't too bad right now.
They're like baby hummingbirds out there.
Worse.
A spring game versus like a regular season game, you know, the Tiger Walk and everything. I know the crowd is not the same and stuff, but as far as like for the players, you know, get that first chance to, you know, be in Tiger Stadium for that year, to, you know, crack helmets, you know what I'm saying? What is that feeling like?
That feeling, to this day, all right, walking down Tiger Walk, walking down Tiger Walk, it's all right, you know, you zoned in or you either zoned out. You're focused on finding your mama, giving a kiss before the game, or you're all around the crowd recording. Mm-hmm. But that's all the same, you know, because it's always, they got the little walk, and the people are always going to be on the gate. So it's the same crowd. It just might be a little louder because the area is going to be filled regardless. What really gets me is walking through the gates, walking onto the field. I to this day, I could not explain or try to explain, like find the correct words, find the right synonyms to compare it to. I just can't explain walking on the field. It's something you'll have to feel. It's like nothing else matters. The crowd is behind you. You feel like you got 100,000 people pulling against just one person. Like, they're for you. They don't care about nobody else. And that feeling is just amazing. I get chill bumps thinking about it sometimes. I go back and watch a couple games and I get chill bumps. It's just walking out. It's something. It does something to you. It makes you feel. It's not like you're nervous. You got to go pee, run to the restroom. It's really something special, and I wish I could do it again. Just walk out there. I don't even have to play. I just got to walk on the field. It's amazing.
It's awesome.
All right. Well, Adrian, listen, you have been great. I personally, listen, I was looking forward to this like all week when we started playing this out. Thank you for, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Honey Bun himself. The grape jelly and the grits. Has he ever tried to talk to you? Has he told you some of the weird food combinations he's come up with?
I try to stay away from Chris. If it's not about fishing, I don't want to eat with Chris. I'm gonna be looking like Chris. I ain't trying to look like Chris.
Hey, have you ever tried a meat pie?
Nah. That see the things he tell y'all, he don't tell me. It don't come this way because ask him about spaghetti though. He loves spaghetti.
No,
I love everything.
we ain't gonna talk about that.
All right.
Oh, man.
Adrian, is there anything that you know what I'm saying that you have that you're promoting and stuff right now that you want us to help you out with, or or at least tell the people in the comments that to look out for your
not no promotions right now, but I did enjoy it and I appreciate all y'all for having me. I'll come back anytime y'all want to talk. I might can get somebody else in here, tag along. But I did enjoy it. Maybe we can sit down and have another one.
Hey, we look forward to it, and we definitely gonna set some up and talk all about Chris.
Yeah.
Tag me in. I'm down for it.
All right. Well,
appreciate you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Adrian Magee.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir, bro.
Hey, listen, I learned something.
Yeah,
I learned some things. But let's get back to spring.
Hey, real quick, guys, in the comments, like and share. There you go.
You always jumping. Don't like and share.
I mean, I don't know when to do it. I'll be trying. Should I do it now? Should I do it now? I don't know.
Yeah, but I will say that first of all, talking to him,
was good stuff from Adrian, though.
Yeah,
talking to Adrian, it's the spring game. And listen, can we go ahead and skip forward to August and get ready to play? I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, a lot of people were looking forward to it. There were a lot of people in the building yesterday. Player ambassadors, as I like to call them. We had everybody there. K. Feezy came back. Jay Ward, Dwayne Thomas, Big Unk and Coach Kelly, Bill Polian, Tyron Matthew, Jamar Chase, Besh, some of the incoming recruits. That is Mr.
King, right?
Doherty. Yeah, Mr. Doherty's father. Harold Perkins was there. And then this picture looks like an album cover.
Looks like Bodyguards.
That look like a movie. It look like a movie cutter. Four Brothers Part 2 coming soon.
But the one thing that I didn't take a picture of, and they actually just put it out probably about an hour or two ago. After the game, there were crawfish boil for the staff, family, and players. Alignment. We talked about it a lot. Coach Kelly is bringing it. This was like a family atmosphere. This wasn't just a spring game. This was like a family reunion.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah, it looked good, man. In Tulsa, we don't have crawfish, so I wish I was there.
Yeah, I just say people. This staff, Destiny Wilson said they had over 250 recruits and players and family and everything on campus. Man, like that's a well put together event, and that, like you say, Pooh, that shows the alignment because it isn't just Brian Kelly, but it's the recruiting staff. It's everybody in the football ops.
The alumni.
It's alumni. It's getting the players back involved. It's everybody, bro, and that's how you know that the culture is truly changing because everybody's buying in.
Yeah, y'all remember that quote, "Family"? Well, hey, this is it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So let's actually talk about the spring game now. I know we kind of briefly brought it up before Adrian came on. Well, let's talk about the spring game. Players that impressed you.
Go ahead first, and I go second.
I'm gonna go with Garrett. Garrett Nussmeier impressed me the most. I'm gonna change my mind. My new favorite player, and you know what I'm talking about.
My dog.
I was wondering if you was gonna say when you said Garrett Nussmeier. I was like, that wasn't what you were saying last night.
Whenever he said I got mine, I was like, here you go. He finna say it. Finna act like he been a fan.
Bro, Jay Ward surprised me.
Jay Ward.
He look good. He tackling. He coming down and hitting. I just love it, bro.
And that's my dog, bro. I've been telling you about him, bro. I told you, man. That man had something to prove this year. He coming with it. But the person I'm gonna go with is gonna be Will Campbell.
Okay.
I think he kind of showed me that he can be a starter on the offensive line. I know he had a few moments where he kind of got Ojulari used the speed rush and kind of got around him and all that. But whether it was Daniels or Nussmeier, they kind of, use their legs to either step up in the pocket and make a throw or just take off running. So I kind of had doubts that he was going to be not capable. You know what I mean? I know he had the talent. I didn't know if he had the size, and that man looked like he done transformed his body in the short time he been there. But yeah, I think Will Campbell is gonna be the one I'm gonna go with.
Daniel, before you say something, I'm gonna say this. No, we don't want a freshman at tackle. I'm gonna throw it out there. But go ahead.
I admit it.
Okay. You can say what you want to say about you. Honestly, you really don't want to, unless you got a guy like Will Campbell who could be a freshman All-American, right? He has the talent to do that. But I would say I have two, and of course, everybody know who's my first one. Garrett Nuss. I'm not gonna really go into that because
I was leaving him for you. That's why I picked Will Campbell. I was leaving him for you.
I appreciate it. But Goodwin, Amani Goodwin, dude really balled. He surprised me. His cuts, how fast he was, his explosiveness, and bro, he put his head down and he go. So I really love the effort he showed yesterday. And a lot of people were saying, hey, Emory, Noah Kane, possibly one RB1, RB2, but Bradford. Good one. They're making a case. And I think our backfield is going to look really good this upcoming football season. So I'm excited about that. But Nuss, Pooh, you want to go ahead and get into Nuss, or you want to kind of go later?
No. Let me say this first. Okay. And I'm a kind of our first ever guest we had on the live show. I'm gonna kind of call him out, Mr. Preston guy, because he said it was going to take some time. But it's not even a player. My outstanding person has got to be Jacob Flint. This team looks good, health-wise, strength-wise. And I know Preston, he was kind of speaking in a general sense, saying that it was going to take some time for this team to, show, what strength and conditioning has done for them. I think it's showing now in those few months. So
I think I kind of said that, but
you did, and I give you credit. But let's go ahead and get into quarterback competition. Nuss. Let's talk about it.
And we trust in Nuss.
Has Nuss solidified himself as a true contender for QB1?
Oh, I almost thought you were finna say, has he solidified himself as QB1? I was finna say, we ain't these other podcasts, dog. We ain't finna come out here saying stuff like that.
I'm not drinking tonight, so
I
definitely
look,
say that.
Y'all gonna get mad at me, but I'm gonna go out on the limb.
I'm gonna put my money on my song. Go ahead, go on that limb.
I'm gonna go ahead and then look, whenever football season come, game one, if he ain't QB1 coming out, or if he ain't QB1 coming out, what's the bet? Let's make it.
We might have to make something.
I got five. And that's gonna be QB1 coming out.
All right, I take that 5.
I bet, man. I think they're gonna go with the experience. I think Jaden Daniels is gonna get the nod right there with the experience.
Wow.
Put
1,000 on it. Let's go.
Put your quarterback on live. I give you $1,000
pennies.
Some of y'all will get that. The rest of y'all we'll fill y'all in later. But
I think I'm gonna go with Jaden Daniels as a starter for week 1 as of now. I think Nuss is a true contender, though. I think this whole time we've been saying it's a 2-person race, and I think after the spring game, that's still true. It's still true. It's just the two people are Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier, and not Jaden Daniels and Miles Brent.
Of course,
right.
And I can be a prisoner at the moment. I honestly am excited about what Nuss did yesterday. It was impressive because I wasn't expecting that. Honestly, I was expecting Brendan to come out, of course, showing off his arm strength, and I expected Jaden Daniels to be fast. I didn't expect him to be that fast. But what I didn't expect was for Nuss to come out and the offense looked pretty good under him. They look pretty good. It looked functional.
He had command of the offense.
Yeah.
I think Miles Brennan looks more like a game manager to me than he did like an explosive. I mean, I know he probably completed the most passes and all that kind of stuff, but I think he completed 11 passes maybe for 99 yards. I mean, like that's a lot of check down type stuff in that kind of stats. But I will say Nussmeier had a lot of different types of throws. He showed that he could make, the deep ball, even though one of them got dropped.
He wasn't indecisive.
Yeah, he had a lot of touch on his throws, and he didn't really put the ball in jeopardy. Miles actually had the one bad pass that I saw on the day that could have been intercepted by Sage, and Malik ended up catching it for a touchdown. So I think Nuss definitely showed us that he's capable. Jaden Daniels showed us that he could be an elite scrambler. I'm talking Pat White type level scrambler whenever he does take off and run with it. I know they blew a couple plays dead that in a real game he ain't gonna be down right there.
Right.
There was one of them that could have looked like it could have went for 6 in a real game. I think it was in the second quarter, but I think those two really kind of separated themselves from the pack. And Miles did look capable, but he did look like that if he's the quarterback, the offense is going to be limited in a sense.
Right. It's almost like how the Saints looked last year with Jameis Winston. We know that Jameis is super duper talented, but of course the coaches kind of they pumped the brakes on him.
Yeah. Well, either that or like how the Saints offense looked under Drew Brees. You know what I mean? Where it really wasn't a lot of home run type balls.
It was one dimensional.
Yeah, it was more of that short passing game, get the ball out of your hands quick and stuff like that. And I just don't know if that's the type of offense that, that we want to run. I think they want to do more of the RPO incorporated game. And you got the big receivers out wide. You got to use them, bro. You can't just run that short pass game.
I don't want to run away from the quarterbacks real quick, but I do want to ask this quick question: wide receivers. I know we didn't have Butte. Dre, I think Dre went out.
It was
an injury.
It was an injury. How good do you think the second tier wide receivers are? Meaning, BTJ, and when I say second tier, I'm no slight at them.
I know what you mean.
Meaning those guys that would, maybe coming off the bench, the first ones off the bench, BTJ, Kyron Lacey, especially Neighbors, especially, Kyron kind of, we talked about it back week 3 or episode 3 when Kyron kind of called out the quarterbacks for, hey, get out there and throw. But then,
the get out there and catch.
Hold on. To quote Emmanuel, and Blake yesterday, shaky.
To his defense, though, maybe that's the reason why he wasn't catching passes is because he didn't do the extra work. To his defense, you know what I mean? I'm not sure.
Did Odell and Jarvis take the jugs machine with them?
I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, he didn't do the work, so maybe that's the reason why. But I will say I'm kind of confident in what we got behind Besh and Booty. I think Neighbors showed that he could be a pretty dependable receiver, and he got some explosiveness to him. Brian Thomas is an animal. If you put the ball anywhere near him on a 50-50 ball, he's gonna come down with it. And then Chris Hilton also, I think, is gonna be somebody that kind of shows that he's gonna be the forgotten guy, but he's got a lot of talent and he's got crazy athleticism too. So
hey, but not so fast. Not so fast, my friend. You forget about Besh.
No, I said behind Booty.
You said Besh. Well,
behind Booty and Besh.
No, right. I think a lot of people don't talk about Besh enough. Besh to me is that guy. You stick him in the inside and you let him go crazy. You stick Booty on the right side. You stick I don't care. You want to stick Hilton, you can stick anybody on the left side and just put Besh in the slot and watch him eat linebackers up.
Well, I've been saying since
Ryan crazy.
I've been saying since the Brian Kelly got here, I need to see a package of 4 wide receivers with Booty and Besh in the slot.
Yeah.
And Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, and Chris Hilton, any combination of them two out wide.
That's illegal.
And if you put that with Jaden Daniels back there or Nussmeier back there, the reason why I say them two is because if you vacate that middle with your linebackers, they can take off running if they got any bit of seam, especially Jaden Daniels. So I mean, like, how do you defend that?
You got mismatches all over the field.
How do you
With
defend
Emery
that?
in the backfield?
Exactly.
Oh, man.
I mean, really, any one of the running backs we saw Saturday in the back. Because honestly, we ain't mentioned Josh Williams' name, and he looked pretty good as a running
Looked
back.
great.
I completely agree.
So we got riches back there, man. You know what I mean? And it's really embarrassment of riches. And anybody you put back there can make plays and can do something with the rock in their hand.
And you know what? Marvin just brings up a good point about the O-line.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that one. So this one, Ryan, I do want to say I disagree. I think Best will have the most catches. Could possibly have the most catches, but I don't think he'll have he'll have the most catches. I don't think he'll have the most yards.
I can see that.
I can see because that's like the and I always bring them up because I think they pretty much kind of set the standard as far as wide receiver tandem in Odell and Jarvis. Jarvis had the more catches. Odell had the more yards.
He was more explosive.
The more explosive plays, yeah.
Right, but
Best is that Landry though. That third down dependable guy. That's exactly who he is, bro.
Yeah, but to bring up Marvin's comment. Uh-oh.
I love him too. I love Josh Williams too.
Uh-oh.
Okay. But yeah, so the O-line from watching the game, man, they started off rough, right? It was like, oh, man, of course our defensive line is good, right? We know that. Very talented. But as the game progressed, as the scrimmage progressed, they got better. I don't know if it's because maybe the guys were tired, defense is not used to playing as much. But the O-line, I love the punch they had. I love that, there weren't too many missed assignments. Now, we did have 18 sacks. That's a lot, right? But, of course, it's going to take some time for all of them to get on the same page. But I really loved how they progressed and they got better as the scrimmage game went on.
Yeah, I would say this, too, about the O-line, though. We got to remember, we got 3 guys on our starting O-line who weren't here last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the most important group. That's the group where chemistry and cohesion means the most. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have 5 guys acting like one, and you can practice and have all these reps and practice and stuff all you want, but that live action really is where it shows up.
Adrian literally just talked about that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And so if you don't have that cohesion, you know what I mean, it'll show. And I think that kind of showed at the beginning of the scrimmage. And toward the second half, end of the second quarter, second half, I think they started to gel a little better. And when they did gel, you started to see a little more of that dominance, and you started to see less sacks. And to be fair about the sacks, though, some of them sacks was if you get like within a step of the quarterback, it's a sack.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so quarterback might not have a chance. I mean, it's fair. I understand it, but quarterback don't really have a chance to throw it away or anything like that. So I'm not gonna hold all them sacks against them, but I will say though that they do need the gel and they do need to get that chemistry to be a successful unit. But I think that they'll do that, and they're starting to show that they're getting there.
Right.
Well, the one thing about that, and the one thing I do like about that, and to what you said, if you get within a step, that means the D line is getting pressure, and that can be almost as good as a sack.
True.
2, with the way the game has changed, the helmet catch with Eli and Westcott would never have happened into today. Well, in the NFL, today's NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
But I completely agree. But with that being said,
shoot, the center Martinez, the starting center might not even be.
Yeah.
He might not even be. That's
he didn't play yesterday.
Or neither did Dellinger. He might be our starting center also,
right?
Or at least competing for it,
right?
Yeah. So it sounds like, as far as offense is concerned, we have a lot of positives that we see. It looks on the up and up. Now, defensive line, we already mentioned that how good they were, but secondary, concerned.
Not really.
Nope.
Or hopelessly,
The reason why I say I'm not concerned,
cautiously optimistic, I guess.
I'm cautious. I'm definitely cautious. But I'm not concerned yet. And the reason why is because Converse didn't play. Seven Banks isn't on campus yet. LaTerrence Welch isn't on campus yet. Jordan Allen isn't on campus yet. So we don't have, 4 guys who I think could contribute this season, and 2 probably going to be starting at your outside boundary corner spots who weren't playing yesterday. And so I think, once we get them in and they get the chemistry they need with the other guys, I think we'll be fine. What we saw yesterday was a lot of just talent beating talent. You know what I mean? The receivers just made more plays than the DBs.
And not only that, they ran a lot of man coverage. They didn't run any zone.
It was a lot of basic stuff too.
Yeah.
But I will say I didn't see any of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the favorite play call. Yeah.
I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any guys, like right before the snap trying to get coverages straight. You know what I mean? Anything like that. So that's the kind of stuff that I wanted to see and that I was glad to see. But like the Brian Thomas catch, for example, you know what I mean? Mekhi Gardner was there. Yeah. Brian Thomas just made a better play. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, so there were times where the offense just made more plays than the defense. Now the linebacker group is the one in coverage that I'm kind of still worried about.
Right.
That damn wheel route.
Right. But like I said, they win man coverage. They ran a lot of different concepts that, Carter expressed it on his podcast and on his YouTube page that I watch. Great content if you like watching film breakdowns. But they ran a lot of SIGs. And, so, I mean, that's hard to defend against whenever you're running man. So I was definitely upset about the wheel route being open so much yesterday. But, of course, when you're running that man coverage, that happens. You know.
Yeah. But at the same time, knowing that's been our Achilles for the past forever, that it'd be kind of nice to see them covered at least once in the spring game. You know what I mean? Like I get it though. You know what I mean? It just kind of traumatizing seeing it open every time they run.
It was open every time.
So I guess we've already kind of slightly hit on this biggest disappointment yesterday. Because I know we've talked about some of the problems we see, but what's your biggest disappointment?
I would say mine is, honestly, Kyron Lacey probably had the most targets out of everyone yesterday. So, with his comments that he made, on a couple of shows, I was really looking forward to seeing him actually go out and produce. Now, of course, it did look like at the beginning of the scrimmage that he was kind of limping. He was a little bit hurt. Yeah. But, man, you're playing for LSU. You know what I'm saying? You're not at UL anymore. If you're going to come in, you get your hands on the ball, you got to catch it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times he beat the guys, but he dropped the passes. So I wasn't really too happy with that. And kind of like what you said, the linebackers, I want to see how aggressive, they can be. Greg Penn did show he made some great plays, but I want to see how strong we can be in that linebacking core.
Yeah. I pretty much same as you, linebacker play, and I'm not just gonna put them all on Kyron, even though he had I ain't gonna say quite a few, but even though he had multiple, the drop passes, you know what I mean? I think that's something that's kind of bit us the past couple of years since Joe and Jamar left. Mm-hmm. Not Joe, just Justin and Jamar left. That we really hadn't been the same in the receiving group. So that seemed like that's kind of continuing the trend. And then
I got one more after you, and too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Some of the tackling. You know what I mean? On that run we talked about with Josh Williams, I saw a couple guys who were going for the ball, not wrapping up. You know what I mean? Just some of the small things that whenever you complete, you commit them same small errors over and over that add up to big plays and big mistakes and stuff like that. But it's really nitpicking, honestly, considering where we were the past couple of years. But I think those are the things that I saw that we could clean up.
Yeah, and I would say also Miles Brennan, because you got guys out there who have a different dynamic. They bring a different dynamic to the football game, right? Their legs. Miles, unfortunately, he doesn't have that. So whenever it comes to him being a pocket passer with a big arm, you have to be almost perfect, right, when it comes to competing against those guys. And not only that, you've been at LSU for 6 years. So we expect you to pick up the offense a little bit faster, understanding that you are learning a new playbook. But, man, I wasn't impressed, right? And, of course, I know, like you said earlier, we were expecting a 2-quarterback race. between Daniels and Brennan. Well, you got outshined by Nuss, right?
Yeah.
Second year player. You've been in the program. You've been in the pro. You and probably the greatest quarterback in college football history had a QB competition. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been in the NFL. He's about to go in his third year now.
The man made the Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah. And it's man, he did not look experienced yesterday. He looked sloppy, in my opinion, whenever the offense. I know that's a wild take, but some of the passes that he threw, if you're supposed to be the guy with the big arm and you're supposed to have all the experience, I expected you to look a lot better than what you did yesterday. So hopefully, he gets in over the summer and he comes back and he's ready to go.
I'll say this about him. He did look decent as a passer. You know what I mean? He made the throws that, he completed the throws that he was trying to make. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't look terrible as a passer. But the problem is, like somebody, I think Trey from G and Varno Sons or whatever, said in the space last night, if Nuss takes care of the ball and doesn't turn the ball over, what does Miles Brennan give you that Nuss can't give you?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to diss Miles or talk down on him or nothing like that. It's just the reality of the situation that his skill set is limited. You know what I mean? And what he brings to the table, the lively arm and being able to make all the throws, Nussmeier does the same thing. You know what I mean? Being able to get the ball out of his hands quick, all those kind of Nussmeier does all that, but Nussmeier brings the element of his legs that Miles can't do. There was a play yesterday whenever we ran an RPO game and Miles handed it off, but he carried the fake out like he was gonna take it, like he was gonna pull it and run the edge. What defense is gonna buy that Miles Brennan is pulling the ball and running?
Look, and I'll tell you.
I'm not trying to diss on the man. I'm just being honest. If I'm a defensive end, I'm crashing down every time because I know
you don't. As a guy who played defensive tackle, I want to play against Miles Brennan, right? Because I know he's gonna be a sit duck in that pocket. I don't want to chase guys like Jaden Daniels around the field. I don't want to chase Nussmeier. Give me Brennan all day so he can sit right there. I can beat the center.
If you were a DN and Miles Brennan ran an RPO,
please leave that question up there for Marvin.
And he pulled an RPO and he pulled it. Tell me, like, how far is he gonna get if he's pulling it? 2 yards back to
no. We've already seen this.
Mississippi State.
Yeah. Mississippi State. He tried that. It was 3rd and 2. After he ran that play, it was 4th and 3.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I'm not saying
Marvin,
I'm not saying Miles Brennan can't win games at quarterback. I'm not saying that.
Right.
What I'm saying is, if he's your quarterback, your offense is limited compared to what Jay Daniels or Garrett Nussmeier can do with this offense. And the reasoning is they have legs.
That's right. My thing with Marvin's question, or I don't know if that's a question or a statement,
more of a comment.
But he can't win a job at LSU. He can't. How is he going to go to the NFL, the best of the best, and be able to compete on that level? Come on, man.
I'll say this. I think he can make a camp and make a roster. You know what I mean? Because he's a capable quarterback. But the problem is, I don't think he could be a starter in the NFL because he's not mobile. And almost every NFL quarterback,
he couldn't beat Danny Ellen now, bro.
I mean, almost every.
That's his freshman year. I can't.
Almost every quarterback in the NFL is mobile. Jameis Winston is more mobile than Miles Brennan, and Winston
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Chris, bring Chris back in. Chris, he had a comment or a question.
Yeah, I was gonna say most disappointing thing I seen was the DBs. I just didn't see it. They don't look like the type of guys I'm used to seeing at LSU right now. I mean, the Tre'Davious Whites and your Morris Claiborne, Patrick Peterson. I know you can't make everybody live up to that, but we were so spoiled by that. I want to see it, and even like guys like Ron Brooks, the 3rd and 2nd guys, Ron Brooks, Jalen Collins. They don't have none of that on this roster, man. I hope Seven Banks and Converse can come in and give us a little bit of that, but I'm scared. I'm scared of that DB, the boundary corners. I think the safeties look good, but the corners, I'm scared.
Hey, and Chris, don't disrespect Jalen Collins like that. All right, that boy's a baller. He was one of.
I said it was a baller.
No, you said second tier. You said second.
He was the second cornerback on that team that year. He wasn't first.
Hey, when he got to the NFL, he was probably going to be one of the top 10 cornerbacks in the league. That's all I'm saying. He wasn't second tier.
Daniel been drinking again tonight. I'm
communion wine. He had a couple good years, but
play that disclaimer. The thoughts of Daniel are not the thing.
I say what you're scared to say.
Views expressed by Daniel are not the views of all of TGB.
So, hey, I speak for myself, guys.
All right, Chris. Chris, I completely agree. All right, Nurse Court in the chat had ask Gigi who asked who.
Gigi, what? I think Nurse Court been drinking tonight too.
Any comments on the Mata kid? Thought looked well. Todd needs some more leg, but no, he is recovering. Field goal look good. Special teams. What y'all got?
All right, so the Mata kid did look pretty good on the 48-yard field goal. But I don't know if he's gonna. I want to see what the kid from Michigan. I think he's from Michigan. The Dilbert kid. I want to see what. I want to see what his leg looks like. Peyton Tide. I'm excited to see him. I do agree he kind of needs to work on his techniques and stuff. But he was off all last year, so it's gonna take him a minute to get back in the groove thing. The reason why I'm excited about him is because he'll go down there and lay that hat. He was a linebacker in high school for West Monroe, so he'll go down there and lay that lumber if you need to. Pause. But but my main criticism of the special teams was I don't remember except for the last kick is the only time I remember us really kicking it out the end zone. You know what I mean? And
that's one thing Avery Atkins was.
Yeah, that's and I know it's like we say, Danny, we nitpicking, but I mean, that's like, in college, they can do the touchback inside the 20, so it's not really that big of a deal. But
I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
I just don't even want to give them a chance to return it. You know what I mean? Just kick it out the back and make them touchback.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, because I promise you, the way some of the coverage we've had on kickoffs over the past few years, they will try it. You can kick. Ole Miss ran that more back from about 8-9 yards deep in his zone. But let's talk about one of the most, and we kind of already did bring it up. One of the most positive things that did happen yesterday, all the recruits on campus. Mm-hmm. It's reported there was over 250 recruits on campus. And we saw the player ambassadors. I don't think I need to roll through it again. But I mean, you had 2019 out there. Kevin Falk was back. Which, first of all, Kevin Falk was probably the one I was really excited to see because he was on the last staff, and was not retained or decided not to come back. Either way, him being there shows that there's no hard feelings between him and this new staff.
In LSU, period. Yeah.
In LSU, period. Same with Dwayne Thomas. Him being there, that shows that even if things did not necessarily quote in the way wanted, there's an olive branch there. So, but thoughts on the recruits on campus?
I would say, well, you go first because what I'm gonna say is gonna be,
Oh Lord, I'm scared to hear what you feel. I'm gonna say this.
The views expressed by Daniel are not that.
Go ahead, give you this thing.
I'm gonna clip that up, man. I'm gonna put one out.
I'm gonna just say, shout out to everybody on the recruiting staff, from J.R. Belton, Arsenault, Sherman Wilson, Destiny Wilson, like everybody who made this together. Because, bro, I don't think I've seen a campus with that many recruits on there.
That was an event, bro.
Yeah, like bro, like, and it was a spring game. It wasn't even a recruiting event. You know what I mean? Like they legit turned the spring game into the biggest recruiting event they possibly could, bro. Like you had players that I was like, man, ain't no way Justin Jefferson, ain't no way he gonna be there. That man, he was there. You know what I mean? Like Clyde, Thad Moss. You know what I mean? Like,
when they said Joe and Jamar Chase would be back on campus, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I didn't
realize
everybody
was gonna be
right.
Joe Shiesty was in the building.
Yeah, that's what. And so I'm like, man, 250 players and family and everybody on. That's bro. Shouts out to y'all, man. Y'all, it's really I see why the hashtag BK Takeover. You know what I mean? Because they really came and they took over the spring game with nothing but recruits. You know what I mean? They probably had more recruits than fans there. You know what I mean? Like, but I think this it says a lot. You know what I mean? That we were able to get this many players on campus. You know, it lets me know that the recruits are kind of buying what Brian Kelly and the staff are selling. You know what I mean? And they kind of excited about what they're hearing and what they're seeing from the staff. So I like it. I'm optimistic about it, and I think here probably in the next couple of days we'll start seeing them commits start rolling in or start running in. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I could say, unfortunately, Brian Kelly didn't have any dancing going on, which was kind of like a disappointment for me because I really wanted to see him dance. But anyways, no, I'm joking.
You wanted him and Joe on the little.
Man, I wanted him to Harlem Shake. You know what I'm saying?
him and Joe.
Wait, do that
thing.
Do your Harlem.
No, we need to get him. We need to get him and Burrow on the little spin pitcher thing.
Right.
Let him
Burrow
and
with the cigar.
Yeah. No, Burrow with the cup like Lil Wayne. No, what's in my cup? It's my cup.
Right. Somebody brought up a comment earlier talking about what was in that cup.
Ryan Thibodeau.
And the words of Lil Wayne.
I ain't worry about somebody to drink. Quit, Ryan.
And the words of Lil Wayne. Don't worry about what's in my cup. It's my cup.
Yeah.
Right. All right. But no, man, I kind of like what you were saying. And, I wanted to see how many commitments. I bet we got a lot of silent commitments, but who knows? Maybe they're waiting on the graphics to come out.
We're going to have to.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I hope we don't have any silent commits. That was the last staff was big on that silent commit. We got a few silent commits and you get burnt. You know what I mean? So if you want to be here, go out, tell everybody you want to be here. You know what I mean? Go public with your commit. And
hey, what you waiting on?
Be like that. What's the school ICDC?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing to do. You just sit at home. You might as well come right
now. I can't stand that commercial. Then little Romeo coming out.
Shut up.
That's who hard I'm shaking. ICDC. But we talked, and I probably should have brought this up on when we talked about the running backs and stuff and how they look. Obviously, as we know, this happened earlier in the week. Corey Connor transferred out. And within hours committed to Cincinnati. First of all, I'm gonna say this: tampering. But
you don't think Dan Brock has something to do with that?
Well,
the kid from Cincinnati though.
Yeah, he's from Cincinnati. I did think that. I was like, I wonder if they had a talk. He was like, let me put in a word.
Right.
I kind of did think that, but at the same time, I don't know.
I never even thought about that, honestly, till y'all just said it. It makes sense in a bit. I just chalked it up as the kid going back home. Because on his little tweet when he announced it, he said something like
going back home,
always Cincinnati or Cincinnati, something along them lines.
Yeah, I wish him nothing but the best. But as you did say,
it's a packed house.
It's a packed house, and it's funny how things can change from day to day or year to year. Because as I stated on AYS yesterday, I thought Goodwin was going to be the first running back out.
Same.
He it felt like last year he was looking for his way out, and now he's probably going to be maybe one of the first ones off the bench.
Well, I think this offense this year fits his skill set better than the offense we was trying to run last year. You know what I mean? Last year we was trying to run all them powers and
I
all
was
that.
wondering if you were going to tell a scheme because I never figured out a scheme from last year's offense. But thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I get it.
Please
I mean,
proceed.
I don't know what kind of offense was.
I mean,
I don't think they do
that's
offense.
kind of the point. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
kind of the point. But did you see any run play other than like inside power? You know what I mean? Like nothing. You know what I mean? And he's really not that type of guy. He's the type of guy with, you know, he's quickness.
Pick his
You know what I mean?
holes.
He's quickness, elusiveness. He's not really power. So it didn't. That scheme and the run plays instead of scheme, the run plays that were called, I'll say it like that. The run plays that were called didn't fit his style. You know what I mean? And we didn't see a lot of passing to the backs and stuff like that. And like he seemed like that's what his skill set is the best at is catching the ball out the backfield or getting the ball on the perimeter, making guys miss and using his speed. And that boy fast.
Yeah. I tell you, I also the tight ends impressed me yesterday also. So you know, hey, we get another guy in there, man. I hope Mason Taylor come in. He's a baller. I really do.
I got high hopes on the kid.
Me too.
I'll tell you what I almost had a praise dance for passes to the running back.
Yes.
Out of the backfield. Oh, listen.
Hadn't seen it in 2 years.
And they actually caught it. I was happy about.
Hadn't seen it in 2 years.
Wow.
Honestly, bro, since Clyde left, we ain't really seen that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She asked
like
to go to the is that better?
Yeah.
Let's do TGBP. TGBP.
TGBP or just TGB or
Well, she just did that.
Pod.
she did GBP. I didn't know what that was. I was like GBP, and then I'm like, what's GBP? But anyway, let's get to the question. What happens when the band plays Nick? BK gonna dance or frown? I'm gonna be honest.
BK he gonna put them shades on, you know, them little CIA shades he be wearing. He gonna put them on and just stand there and just sit there and enjoy the atmosphere. And like, man, they would have never done this at Notre Dame.
Right.
Hey, I think he gonna do like Joe did in the national championship. All you gonna see is
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, so we beat up on the spring game and stuff. Let's talk about NFL because it's a few things have happened in the NFL. And actually, let's talk. I'm gonna talk about these two things kind of back to back. Deebo Samuel's request a trade. I mean, his offensive coordinator's gone. We've seen Kyle Shanahan. I mean, he's not a bad play caller unless the game is on the line.
Not by any means.
Unless the game's on the line and he's up by 10 or double digits. But Deebo Samuel requests a trade.
He's their offense, man.
Yeah, he don't like the way he being used apparently, and I get it. Like he wants to be more strictly an outside receiver. He don't like being, you know, in the backfield getting handoffs and stuff like that. And I can kind of understand it in the sense that.
But he played the same role in college too, though.
That might. I mean,
yeah.
I think he just wants to be paid.
I mean, that's part of it too. But at the same time, I mean, if you're getting handoffs and stuff like that, you're more likely to get injured. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of the reason. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, I need to chill out some of these touches. You know what I mean? Like that's more of it than. And the way if you want to give me the ball, give me the ball. Just I'm tired of getting hit by a defensive lineman. Like let me get hit by DBs. You know what I mean? Like wear and tear. So I think money is the biggest reason, no doubt, for sure. But I think part of it is though that he knows if he stays out there, he's gonna be used a certain way.
I think if you give him a big guaranteed contract, you pay him.
Oh yeah, he's gonna complain a lot less.
Yeah,
he's gonna complain a lot less for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you pay that man well. Hey, I go play running back. I'm getting paid.
I'm with Ryan though.
I was actually. This was actually a part of my next question. What are you trying? I think somebody mentioned.
Who you giving up?
19.
Number
19.
Space.
Pick number 19.
Those first round picks for it. Why not?
Why?
You gonna get around?
I think it's good. I don't think that's a good deal for San Francisco.
Why not?
San Francisco? What are they gonna take? What do they want?
Like what else they gonna?
San Francisco ain't gonna have a choice but to pay that guy. He's literally their entire offense.
But if he ain't gonna be there, he ain't gonna be there. If he want out, he want out. I mean, if he want out, he want out. What you gonna get? You gonna say no to a first round pick?
Hey, you gonna give him more money.
And if he turns it down and don't want to be there,
I don't think he's gonna turn it down.
You don't think that? But what if he turns it down? What are you gonna do? You can't make nobody stay where they don't want to stay.
He's on a contract.
Well,
For how long? That's why
he's still on his rookie deal.
For how many more years?
Rookie deal. He been there for a minute, ain't it?
No, he's still on his rookie deal.
He's still on his rookie
deal.
deal.
For like one more year.
Yeah. Rookie deals are 5 years when you're a first round pick.
It can be 5 years, if they pick up the option, but they're gonna have to pick up the option.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. You didn't as the old people say, you done learned me something today. I did not know that one. So, but to tag
Wait a
on,
minute.
He wasn't the first round pick though, was he?
He was? Oh, he wasn't.
He was a second round pick.
Golly. Okay.
And this is last year under contract, 2022. So what they gonna do? You gonna pay that man, or you gonna trade that man? If he don't want to be there, what's your option?
I guarantee you, if they don't trade him,
I mean, you can franchise tag him.
That man, he gonna be out of there.
He gonna put him out of Thomas.
He gonna be out of there, and they ain't gonna get in that form. So they might want to
franchise tag him and end up paying him a lot more than you would be if you trade him to us for a first round pick. Then you got a receiver for 5 years.
Well, let me ask you also, the Eagles, what did they pick in the draft?
One pick ahead of us, both times. They picked 16 and 18.
15 and 18, right? Because we got 16, 19.
Yeah, right? That's right. 15, 18, that's right.
Because I know the Eagles probably want another wide receiver.
Yeah, that's true.
They should. Well, listen, I'm not worried about the wide. I saw. I
think they're going at the Metcalf though, honestly. But
I saw something today that said the Eagles picked. They didn't pick Metcalf.
They picked JJ Sega Whiteside.
Yeah, and then they didn't pick Jay Jets. They picked
Jalen Reagor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I mean,
if Debo,
sure thing.
If Debo on the table, they're not gonna trade for Debo. They're gonna trade for Christian Kirk or something. You know what I mean? Somebody like that. Hey, that's the reason. That's who messed up the market though. When he got paid by Jacksonville, that's why Debo want his money. That's why Tyreek Hill want his money. And they messed up the market, bro.
Right.
All right. Speaking of wide receivers, and this one kind of, y'all know I rep 251. But Kadarius Toney on the block after one season on the trade block.
I love
Saints.
It, yeah, please.
So
19.
Yeah.
Go get him.
For real. That don't make sense to me though.
It doesn't.
It don't make sense.
He had to do something crazy.
I know last year the Saints almost had a deal done with Sterling Shepard. At the trade deadline, but the trade deadline was a Tuesday or whatever, and then that Monday night, one of the receivers for the Giants got hurt, so the Giants pulled the deal out the table. But so that lets me know now that they got a stack, receiver room and stuff like that. But why him? Why him? You know what I mean? So I don't think it's that. It's got to be something. They do got a new coach up there and stuff like that. Did they ball get him up out of there? You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Let me say this. This is a little, and I'm gonna be careful the way I put this because I don't want to bash anyone. But reading through, he had some injuries. He showed up to practice like they was like in the wrong cleats, wrong size cleats.
What?
Yeah, he had wrong size cleats. At one point, I know he was out there running routes barefoot. He said with the COVID protocol, said he tested positive several times. Several. Yeah, this was an article. I was on ESPN as a matter of fact. So I think they're going to probably label this character issues. And some of that stuff may not actually be the quote unquote case, but they'll put stuff to
a narrative.
A narrative. So I think that's how they're probably going to try to label this and try, because after one season, if you're trying to get rid of a first round pick, I'm I'm going with it's going to be character issue.
The last time I can remember this was Josh Rosen. Whenever he was picked, 10 or whatever, and then they traded him the next year. But he had a lot of question marks about him. You know what I mean? Like him kind of being uncoachable and stuff like that. But
just something about them Florida players,
and the reason why they did it because Kyler Murray was the next year. You know what I mean? So are the Giants trying to get a receiver to replace him? No, because I don't think it's the case. I think like what you said, Pooh. I think they're gonna say that it's a character issue. He didn't fit in the locker room. You know, he was a cancer in the locker room or something like that. But that's a bad look for both parties, honestly.
So
getting rid of a first round pick after a year, and the team getting rid of you after a year, it's a bad look.
Do you take a first for him or do you take a second?
You take whatever you can get for him, honestly. If you're trying to get rid of him after a year, it's obviously you want him gone so bad, it don't really matter what you get in return. You know what I mean? Like honestly, you're not gonna take a fifth or a sixth, but you're not gonna pass on
third.
Yeah, you're not gonna pass on a deal because it ain't a first. You know what I mean? Right. If somebody offer you a second, you're gonna take it because you want them gone.
All right. So also something that came up, and I'm gonna say this person got plenty of character issues, just simply because he's always been a problem in one shape, form, or fashion. Tom Brady. But no, seriously though, Tom Brady in his and I say character issues. Of course, I was being sarcastic, tongue in cheek, but he is showing his I guess he is showing technically his character, but he's asked the Bucks have restructured his contract.
Man, I hate this story.
And to free up $9 million more bucks.
And everybody's gonna come. Here's the reason why he's the GOAT. He takes less money so he can get better. When your wife is worth $400 million, you can take less money, bro.
So you saying he got a sugar mama?
I'm saying if Tom Brady's wife wasn't worth $400 million, if his wife wasn't worth $400 million, he wouldn't be taking pay cuts like this, bro.
Not only that, all the endorsement deals he has too.
That's what I'm like. At one point,
it sounds like you saying sugar mama.
Hey, call it what you want, but at one point in time, his wife was making $40 million and he was making 20. So if your wife the breadwinner, it don't matter what you bring home. You know what I mean? You could take less to win championships because your wife got the bills covered. I bet you're gonna take your allowance. You're gonna take your allowance and go spend it on what you can spend it on. You know what I mean?
Like, allowance. You think Tom Brady got an allowance?
Yes, I do, and I hate that narrative, dog. I hate that narrative, dog, because he ain't doing that because he's just such a great team player. He doing it because his wife worked $400. Like, look, let's take.
Breeze should have took notes.
Let's take Sierra, like, because she the other famous wife, right? You know what I mean? Like, she worth $25 million. You know what I mean? Like, think of how much more. Like, you can't compare it, dog. You really can't, bro.
Yeah.
All right, so with this, prior to the move, they had just under 4.4 million, and it says they need about 3 million to sign all their draft picks for this class. I think that's just a general synopsis or whatever. However, what did not change was Brady is still an unrestricted free agent in 2023. So
yeah, he going to Miami. Y'all seen the story that finally came out that they was gonna trade a first round pick for Sean Payton and the second round pick for Tom Brady.
That's true.
Yeah.
Somebody talked about that last week. Oh wait, the Geauxlden Boot.
Go back and listen. Like and share, guys.
Y'all better jump.
That's on this. Crazy.
Y'all better jump on this. Okay. So one more thing that did come out NFL wise, for the first time in history, there will be 3 Christmas Day games. There'll be 2 games during the daytime and then 1 primetime game. Okay. So this year we will have football on Christmas. So you ain't got to sit there and watch A Christmas Story all day. Right. You ain't got to sit there and watch them kids play with them same toys and not pick up that paper.
Christmas movies are overrated anyways.
Listen, the views expressed by are not of the Geauxlden Boot podcast. But moving on to LSU basketball, men's and women's both picked up transfer players. The men's got Derek Fountain from Mississippi State. The women got Esmery Martinez from West Virginia. I did not even look up their stats. I'm not even gonna try to sugarcoat.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I can tell you this.
We had a spring game yesterday.
The boy from Mississippi State is like a more polished offensively version of Alex Fudge. You know, he's kind of long, he's kind of athletic, but he's got a little better pause. He got a little better jumper on him, you know, a little more touch around the basket. And then I know that one of the transfers we got from West Virginia, I think we got 2 from West Virginia on the girls' side, if I'm not mistaken. But one of them like a double machine though.
Hey, real quick,
about her.
In the only one I saw was Esmer. I didn't see
in the comment section, it looked like Ryan is trying to shoot a shot. Ryan, go ahead, bro. Shoot. Go ahead.
Bam! Shoot.
Shoot.
Steph Curry from 3 with that one.
Let's go. I see you, Ryan. I ain't hating on you.
Look at that. Look.
Y'all boys wild, bro.
It's a love connection. Boy, I tell you.
We found love. At the Geauxlden Boot podcast.
Wow, bro.
Listen. We've already told you at the Geauxlden Boot, you can come on here, you can get good interviews, you can learn some great recipes, you can find love. Come to the Geauxlden Boot podcast. So,
jack of all trades around here.
Let's go.
All right. So moving on to the NBA. The first thing I was gonna talk about is the Pels, but I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm gonna leave that one last and second to last.
Brandon Ingram out here cooking right now, by the way.
The Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets.
Hey, did Brandon Ingram steal KD's powers?
KD playing like the Monstars took his powers right about now.
They switched balls. Pause. Good.
That's good. But yeah, the Brooklyn Nets. I was gonna ask a question, but I was gonna ask, were they the biggest disappointment this season? But then you got to remember the Lakers.
Hey, at least one of them made the playoffs.
Ooh, that's dirty. That's dirty. Well, you know what? Let me ask this, and I'll ask this specifically to you. What is harder to look at? The Brooklyn's flop, the Lakers flop, or Zion's weight on the scale? Go.
You got jokes.
No, seriously.
Honestly, out of the first 2 though,
Zion ain't gonna never come on this show.
Zion ain't gonna come to the
now with Pooh and you, I'm the only one he gonna come talk to. I'm the only one who defend him. Even
I just say he like pork chops.
He won't even talk to his own teammates, so I know he ain't gonna talk to us.
Man, he on the bench right now. But anyway,
pork chops. Go ahead.
I bet he dressed out.
Anyway,
Anthony Davis Jr. Since y'all want to talk,
Anthony Davis Jr.
He won't dress out.
Stop it.
But
he want to play. He want to play. Not Anthony Davis don't want to play. Yes,
he's just the biggest. He's just the bigger version. He's a bigger version. AD.
He want to play. Anthony Davis didn't want to play. That's the difference. But then that's the reason with the Lakers right there. That's your answer. That's the reason why. Like the Nets would be cool if it wasn't for Kyrie and the not want to take the shot. They got 2 players that don't want to take the shot. You know what I mean? They got Ben Simmons and they got Kyrie on the same team. So that's really their problem. You know what I mean? But the Lakers, even if they was healthy, like we saw them healthy, they don't fit together. You know what I mean? Like Westbrook and LeBron can't play together. They both are ball dominant guards, pause. That you know what I mean, that can't really play off ball. So whenever they on the court together, it don't fit.
But we funny. We are.
Hey, we are.
One thing, Scotty Barnes wins Rookie of the Year. When I saw this, the first thing I was thought when I said it said Scotty Barnes wins Rookie of the Year.
Over said who?
I was about to say who is that?
Oh man, thank you. I was like, who? I was like, who does he play for?
Toronto Raptors.
Toronto Raptors. So he
They ain't
edged
even in
out.
the U.S. That's why we don't know who that is.
I think it's the third rookie of the year in their franchise history or something like that.
Wow.
That was
He edged out Evan Mobley. But it brought me to my thought in the beginning of the year. Cade Cunningham, what's the other guy at Houston?
Jalen Green.
I thought they would, especially being that Houston and Detroit were not.
That's part of the reason why, though.
It wasn't that great, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the problem I have with some of these awards is the people who vote don't really watch a lot of basketball. You know what I mean? So if you're playing on a Detroit or a Houston team that ain't really playing a lot of primetime games, people ain't gonna know you. But if you notice, both of the guys who finished first and second in like the tightest race in 20 years or whatever, that was both of them teams made the playoffs. So I think
Ryan's talking, yo.
Hold on. I'm trying to stay with this conversation, but this
y'all got
the comments,
chat, bro.
Oh my God! Listen,
chat, bro.
When Ryan shot his shot, Nurse Quinn said Ryan Gummies came in, and then Ray said she was looking good at the spring game.
Oh man, that's Ray. Hey, Ray trying to come in and steal.
Y'all got some. Hey, but back to what I was saying though. The two dudes,
the comment saga.
The two dudes that finished first and second, they made the playoffs.
Oh, okay,
them other two dudes didn't even make the playoffs.
To finish the show. But also, but yeah, you said they okay. But sorry about that. You said they didn't make. But even with that though, the year that what's his name? Pau Gasol. When he went, I don't think Memphis made the playoffs.
Yeah, but I think
LeBron didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, but LeBron had an incredibly dominant season that year. Okay. You know what I mean? Like he had him and Carmelo were the only players to win Rookie of the Month every year. I mean every month. You know what I'm saying? So it was honestly Melo should have won it that year if you ask me, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah,
I can't even argue that you're not right. So
but that my thing is I think it's the fact that those guys really they didn't and Cunningham was hurt, you know what I'm saying, some of the year too, and he struggled some. So I think the right two guys at the top. I think Mobley should have won it though, if you ask me.
Okay. So Ant, let's get a Pels update, man. What's going on with them?
Well, they're down 1-2 right now to the Suns. But they coming out this game looking like they going down swinging. Brandon Ingram coming out with it on his mind, bro. He like Dane said, he stole Durant powers, but he playing like Durant right now though. You know what I mean? He playing in attack mode. You know, he know he the best player on the court right now since Devin Booker ain't there, and he playing like it. You know what I mean? So
quick question. Jackson Hayes doesn't pick up that flagrant 2 the other night. Is it a different game?
Yes, it's a totally different game. Toward the end of the game, we had Larry Nance out on the court, guarding Aiden, and we didn't have anybody else to bring in because Valanciunas can't stay with Aiden like that, and Jackson Hayes wasn't available. So I'm not saying Jackson Hayes would have, scored that many points or anything like that, but just having more options, being able to give guys breathers, you know what I mean, being able to use more fouls if needed to be, it changed the entire way you coached the game not having him out there. So I think it's a different game.
Okay. I joke about Zion, and his
we know.
Yeah. And when I say I joke, I mean I'm telling the truth. But
telling the truth.
Are the Pels just holding him out for if they make the next series, or
they're not playing at all this year? They're holding him out for next season.
But why? But the thing is,
check this out. So no season since Zion has been in the league has he been healthy to start the season. None. He always gets hurt in the summertime. Like his first rookie year, he got hurt in summer league, so he had to miss start of the season. His second year, he got hurt in the bubble and had to miss start of the second season. Last year, he got hurt and had to miss start of this season. So why play him for the playoff game when you're not winning the finals this year anyway?
And let me ask you a question.
Hold on. Can I finish? So why play him when you're not winning the finals this year anyway?
Yeah.
Why? So making the playoffs was just extra. You know what I mean? You're just getting experience for the guys on the team with him. Get him healthy and start the season next year with him healthy. You don't want to take no chances.
Let me play devil's advocate. You beat the Suns. Who in
you
the
play
West
Memphis next round?
Okay.
No, you're not Memphis.
Memphis is
not Memphis. You play Dallas next round.
Let me ask you a question.
Dallas is very beatable.
Yeah, you got Ingram, you got McCollum.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Okay,
let me ask you this. You play Zion and he gets hurt. And then you start the next season with him on the bench. Then you hear all these rumors about Zion don't want to be there. You start all that over again. What's the point?
It's the playoffs, and you
What's the point?
What happens?
What's the point?
You got your big three.
What? Okay, let me ask you this. You put Zion back on the court right now. Does it mess up this chemistry of this team?
You don't know. Because he hasn't
My
been
point
on the
exactly. My
Put him
point
on the
exactly.
court.
So why put him on the court and mess up? You just said you got a chance to win. So
Okay,
why put him on the court and mess up that chance to win?
Let me ask you a question. If he does not get hurt, right? He doesn't get hurt. Let's say they lose. How much momentum? How much momentum will they have going into next season?
The same amount they have if he don't play.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Right. What's been an argument for New Orleans, for the Pelicans right now? Hey, the fans don't like.
Hey, no. I don't want to hear none of that. Because
that's the media. That's what the media is saying.
Exactly. And if he's hurt next year, the media is going to keep running the same narrative they've been running this whole season.
Okay,
they're going to say he ain't really hurt. He don't want to be here and all this kind of stuff. It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, but let me ask you. If
get
he
him
was
healthy.
In LA,
get him healthy and start the season at full strength. We started the season 1-12 this year.
Let me ask you a question.
Because we didn't have Zion healthy at the beginning of the season.
Who back? Can I say something? Is he gonna let me say something?
Hey, listen, I personally understand what he's saying, and I'll accept that.
Look, I wish Chris was in so somebody can have my back too. All right. Let me ask you a question.
It don't make no sense, bro.
Let me ask you if he was in LA, would you be saying the same thing?
Yes.
Come on, man.
It doesn't make sense to play him.
They have a chance.
Why Ben Simmons ain't playing?
Great segue.
Let's get to that. So
come
on,
Ben
man. Simmons ain't playing. They need him to play.
No, because Ben Simmons don't want to play.
So let's get to that. Ben Simmons. Stephen A. had some words about Ben Simmons today, and here they are.
Jalen's different than me. I feel bad for anybody who was his teammate. He quit on LSU. He quit on the Philadelphia 76ers, and now he ain't showing up for the Brooklyn Nets. We can point to all the excuses, all the rationale behind it that we want to. I do recall, despite him not playing, he still filed a grievance to collect $20 million that he has not earned. This is one of the most pathetic situations that I've ever seen in my life. He ain't going to war. He ain't going in the octagon. He's not going in a boxing ring. It's pulling teeth to get this man to play basketball. It's pathetic. It's sad. And at the end of the day, when the NBA gets in the collective bargaining table and they go after the players in terms of a pay-for-play stipulation in the collective bargaining agreement, it's going to be called the Ben Simmons rule.
That leads to what you just talked about. Why isn't Ben Simmons not playing? I'll let y'all go ahead with this one.
Man, I'm gonna go first. No, he went last time.
I don't know how to set it up, so I don't even know what to listen. Go ahead, Dane. Take it.
I want to go first. All right. Ben Simmons. I feel like he's self-sabotaging. You know, one of our first episodes we talked about mental health, right? And that's something that I think all of us, we take it pretty seriously. We never want to question anyone's mental health. But I think when you know better, you do better. It's obvious Ben Simmons has this has been an issue since he was in college, right? As far as his mental health. He has the resources to get it taken care of, if that really is the problem, right? So I question how much how bought in is Ben Simmons? What you think, Ant?
My thing is, I think Ben Simmons is a very talented basketball player, and I think that he knows he's a very talented basketball player. I don't know how much Ben Simmons loves basketball. I don't know if he loves basketball or if he loves what basketball can do for him, as far as provide generational wealth. All those kinds of things. Allow him to travel the world. All those kinds of things. I honestly think it's at a situation right now where it's at the pinnacle of where he doesn't really love it, and he's being able to milk, injuries, or I'm sitting out because I don't like my coach and teammate throwing me under the bus. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. I'm not even bringing up the mental health part of it. None of that. Just the other stuff, that the reason why he isn't playing. I just think that he's kind of found a way for him to get the things that basketball brings him without actually having to play basketball right now. And I think there's a point in time where he's gonna have to play. You know what I mean? And whenever that moment comes, we're gonna find out if he really loves it or if it's just, I gotta do this to get what I really want. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, and I'm not saying he's the only one like that in the league. You know what I mean? I think there's other players like that. I think he just has a big enough microscope on him because he was the number one pick, and he had these same type of issues in college. We all remember the Oklahoma game where he was playing against Buddy Hield, and he kind of just shrunk in the second half of the game. He didn't want, the moment was too big for him. Right. He did the same thing in the playoffs last year. You know what I mean? The moment was too big for him, and he shrunk. So I just think that it's sort of the issue where he's just trying to get what he can get from the game without having to put that back into the game. If that makes sense.
And you know what? For me, it's not so much the JaMarcus Russell effect, right? You being a number one pick, you getting all this money. At a time,
JaMarcus had some off the field stuff, like deaths in his family and stuff like that kind of messed with him.
And he went off the rocker. He got a little bit bigger. He stopped working. His work ethic decreased. But what I'm saying in this situation with Ben Simmons is,
but
I'll say this: he was one of the best defensive players in the game of basketball in the NBA.
Yeah,
right. He was. So it's not like the kid doesn't have talent. And I don't think you can honestly say that maybe he doesn't love the game. You know what I'm saying? I think at a point in time there was a point where he did love it, because you don't become the number one player in the draft. Not only that, you don't excel in the NBA to get to the NBA.
That's arguable, bro. Because like I say, he's talented, bro. He's a 6'10" guy who's pretty much a guard. You know what I mean? They don't make those, you know what I mean? So even if you don't love the game, being 6'10", being able to, pass and dribble like that, being able to defend the way he does, you don't have to love the game to be able to do that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he doesn't love the game because of that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying his skill set didn't come from being in the gym for hours and hours and hours. You know what I mean? His skill set didn't come from that. I mean,
you can't just be 6'10", and that doesn't. I mean, they got a lot of people out there that's 6'10" that doesn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Handle the ball as well as Ben Simmons.
That's very true. That's very true. But since he's came into the league, what has he done to improve his game?
He's gotten better on defense.
No, he was always great on defense. He was always great on defense. He hadn't improved his free throw shooting. He hadn't improved his 3-point shot.
I agree.
He hadn't improved anything. And that right there lets me know you don't really love the game. Because if you really love the game, every offseason you would be in there finding something, one part of your game that you can improve.
But we've seen the videos of him shooting. We've seen it. We know that he could shoot.
I got videos of me in my yard shooting too. That don't mean I love basketball. You know what I mean? And to me, if you gotta post it, that's kind of I gotta show y'all that I'm doing it instead of actually doing it.
So
the lights can be too big, man.
I don't know if he's ever, just because it's not advertised. It's not our business. But I don't know if he ever saw a sports therapist.
He got PTSD.
He supposedly did. Philadelphia supposedly linked him up with a sports psychologist.
Okay, so sports therapist, sports psychologist, whatever. it makes me this brings me to or brings to mind Naomi Osaka. But the difference with that, Naomi, as Ant has mentioned, Naomi loves the game. She just it's the moments are not even the winning, it's the moments after and stuff is too much for her to handle. And she kind of, that part bothers her. She's having trouble dealing with that. And it is affected, and then that started affecting her on the court.
Well, because in her situation, it's more of, hey, after I lose, of course, I really love this sport. This is the first thing that happens. You stick a camera in front of my face and ask me how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you had your worst day at work, right? Someone comes to your job, sticks a camera in your face. How are you going to feel?
That's real. That's real. That's a valid point.
You go on social media, everybody's tweeting about it.
That's a valid point.
So, and with that, my question is, with Ben Simmons, at what point are you, I guess, getting more help or improving yourself or what? I honestly haven't. I don't know what happens behind the scenes. I know a tree by the fruit it bears, and I haven't seen anything come from him. He sat out, and then as Stephen A. mentioned, he's filing a grievance for money, but you haven't played. You didn't show up for practice. Even if you are having issues with playing the game, you're not even showing up for practice for your teammates. So that's why I kind of stand with it. I don't know. I don't see. I don't see what happens from here, and it's a tough situation just simply because of, as we stated, the whole mental health issue is a sensitive topic, but it seems like it's a bunch of BS that we're witnessing.
Yeah, I don't want to dismiss his mental issues by any means. You know what I mean? I just really want to kind of point out all the other things around, you know what I mean, him besides the mental issues. Because it wasn't just mental issues. It's back injury, neck injury. You know what I mean? My coach threw me. It's a whole bunch of things. And it just kind of feels like he's moving from one excuse to the next.
Well, if my head coach came out and kind of threw me under the bus like Doc Rivers did him, I would feel a certain type of way.
Oh, 100%. But at the same time, once I got traded to my new team,
that's what I was just about to say.
Let me go prove
it's
them
a
wrong.
Fresh start. And then I'm playing with KD, and I'm playing with Kyrie.
Let me go prove him wrong.
Come on,
you know what I mean? Like,
we down. We down.
Well, he wanted to come back game 4, but apparently the Nets told him no. So I don't know how that.
Well, he said he woke up and he had his back was hurting. So
yes.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Baseball. They swept. They won this week.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We've had the same conversation about this team over and over. And I say I'll say this week, what I said last week. Jay Johnson is either going to be coach of the year or he's going to be the worst hire of Scott Woodward's career, according to the fans. I don't know what to make of this team, and I'm not going to try to figure it out. If y'all want to talk about it, see y'all in spaces. But let's move on. All right. Who want to jump up first? Who want to take this first?
Shoot, I'll go. All
right.
I had to wait. All right, Baker Mayfield. No, not OU. You want to come to the SEC, right? You want to compete with the big boys. You're supposed to be a blue blood, right? The least you can do for Mayfield, the guy who won you a Heisman, is get someone who could actually do a better replica of this man. Like, this is embarrassing. Look at the face. Put that picture back up there. Look, is there any way we can zoom in on the face? If we can't do that, that's cool. You can go look on Google Images and see that this looks nothing like Baker Mayfield. This is very disrespectful. And if I'm Baker Mayfield, I'm throwing a temper tantrum because I bought y'all a Heisman, and this is the thanks I get. This guy looks like his uncle. This is embarrassing. I'm done.
Hold on. Sorry about that, Ant. Let me
Oh, it's all good.
Come on, Pooh.
listen. I'm out of town.
You got the clip.
Yeah, let me get it going for you.
He got the clip.
North Central has taken the lead here in game one. Oh my! Oh no! Oh no! That was out of nowhere. Woodward just attacking the. Sorry, Phillips right there. And he'll step on home plate and.
All right, so y'all saw what happened. Kid hit a 2-run bomb off pitcher, runs around second base and kind of taunts the pitcher, and the pitcher comes with his best Bobby Boucher impersonation and just tackles the man. My problem isn't with anybody on the field. Yeah, I know y'all. I'm surprisingly not. Players gonna be players. Stupid stuff happens all the time. My problem is with the penalties that happen to the player. So the batter gets a 2-game suspension for taunting. The pitcher gets a 4-game suspension and ultimately gets kicked off the team. Cool. The problem is that the batter's team leaves the bench to protect the batter, and all of them get suspended for the next game. They have to forfeit their game, and nothing happens to the pitcher's team. And why? Like, why are they penalized for protecting their player whenever the other team's pitcher comes in with a football tackle in a baseball game? Like, the conference needs to look at this a little better, and they need to suspend the pitcher's team if they're gonna suspend the batter's team. No reason why the batter's team should be forfeiting games when the pitcher team isn't. And come on, pitcher, bro, you gotta do better, man. Ain't no need for that in baseball.
All right. This week's altar call is gonna be a little bit different. Usually during altar call, we call out, as y'all have noticed, we call out some crazy things, some bad things and stuff that happen. But I thought this week I like to shine some light, and give roses to people who I think deserve it. Blake at AYS, Carter at the Power Hour, Mike at Tiger Bay. I want to thank you guys, even Preston. Thank you guys for using your platforms to allow people like us at the Geauxlden Boot to get a leg up, to help us out. Even Tigers Avenue. I want to thank you guys for even, having us on as guests and stuff and talking with us. I also want to thank people like the Yard Talk, who helps us out with the HBCU out. We thank you for allowing us to, meet with your audience and bring our message to them. We want to thank you for giving us a chance to, grow with your audience and trusting us with your platforms to do better things. We would not be here if it were not for you guys, inspiring us at times, making us laugh, and again, giving us a chance. So for this for this altar call, I want to say thank you, give y'all a salute. Well, fellas, what we got going on? Okay. All right, fellas. It's been a good one. This one, I enjoyed this. Adrian Magee, thank you. Adrian for coming on. Hey, Big Pressure. I know you who's
Ben.
your favorite AYS? Ben. Exactly. Hey, Big Pressure, you said was our fourth co-host. Chris actually does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. He's decided to take more of a role in the back seat. Chris set up
our guest for tonight.
He set up the interview with Adrian Magee. He's actually working on another one. So that's where he is. Chris is always pulling his weight, and I don't want y'all to ever think.
And that's hard to do because he got a lot of it.
Yeah,
he backstage eating a honey bun.
Yeah, with cheese on it. And that is not a Franklinton thing. That is not a Hackley or Pine thing. That is a Chris thing. Thank you for Adrian Magee for pointing that out. But with that, Again, thanks
Thank you,
everybody
Dylan.
for watching. We appreciate it. Dylan, I appreciate you, man.
For it.
Uh-oh. What? Wait a minute now.
You trying to cut us off Facebook?
Wait a minute now. The producer is doing crazy things.
The choir starting to play while the preacher's still preaching, huh?
Hey, the producer must be drinking. My bad. All right. On that note, though, to everybody, we'll see y'all next week. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Geauxlden Boot. On Instagram at Geauxlden Boot. On YouTube at The Geauxlden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Geauxlden Boot Pod.